Stop for a second and just admit that one of the most iconic moments of last night's incident during the White House Correspondents' Dinner is this featuring Kash Patel. This is the director of the FBI, who should be one of the most immediately involved people in what happened last night in Washington, D.C., crouching under a table and looking around a little lost, a little scared, while other people, including several women in evening gowns, are standing up to see what's going on. That man, who is supposed to represent the apogee of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the man who's supposed to represent the top level of the top law enforcement agencies in the United States, instead of springing into action and understanding what's going on, decided to crouch down and wait for directives. If this image, a man entrusted with the enforcement of the law in the United States, crouching behind a table and standing next to a woman who's left there fending for herself during a moment of potential and imminent danger, if that image does not describe to a T what the current administration looks like and stand for, then
J.D. Vance escorted first by the Secret Service instead of Donald Trump during the attack. No one has realized these three details suggest it may have been rehearsed in advance. Just yesterday, an attack occurred while Donald Trump was hosting the White House Correspondents' Association dinner. However, netizens noticed that J.D. Vance was quickly escorted off the stage, while Trump was left unescorted for quite some time, sparking online discussion. First, according to Secret Service regulations, the president is the top security priority, followed by the vice president. But last night, the opposite happened. Vance was swiftly and quickly removed, while Trump remained seated for a long time before being taken away. This completely violated established security protocols, looking like a deliberate arrangement following a script. Second, when Trump was escorted out, his bodyguards showed no signs of tension whatsoever. Furthermore, Trump's back was completely exposed without any cover, lacking any security protection at all. He even fell to the ground during the evacuation. Finally, combining the abnormal evacuation order and perfunctory security measures, many unreasonable details corroborate each other, leading many to suspect that this sudden attack may have been entirely designed in advance.
Right, welcome back to our YouTube channel. My name is Mr. J and this is Mr. J Diaspora. Just in case, if you've not subscribed, please consider subscribing to join the family. Now guys, there was a shootout at the White House. Now somebody tried to kill the President of America, not in any other place but the White House. Wow, sounds very crazy. And this person had to wait for this particular dinner that have so many people from different places coming together for a dinner with the President of America, and then gets into the White House and tries killing him. Sounds very crazy. Now, I don't want to talk much. Let us just watch some of the videos, some of the funny, some videos reaction from the white Americans and some other people reacting on the same story that happened in the White House. Someone tried to kill the president. God damn it! What? That's crazy, bro. So this is not the first time something like this is happening. Now, before talking much, let us watch some of the videos of people reacting to the same story. Then we'll come back and talk more about this particular story. Let's watch the videos right away.
Assassination attempt on President Trump last night. And hey, everyone out there's got their hot take on this one, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But what I did find interesting is every single world leader, despite their massive differences, all came together to agree that political violence is never the answer. And I just think it's really funny that the one thing the world's politicians can agree on is that you should never shoot at a politician. They're like, guys, sure, we might start wars and bomb civilian populations and give people the death penalty, but when you shoot at a politician, that's just over the line. You can't be doing that. Just feels like a little bit of a convenient opinion for them to all have. But no, they're right. Violence is never the answer unless it's the government that's doing violence. Then it's a completely different situation. They're
working overtime right now on social media trying to claim that this image of the man who allegedly attempted to assassinate US President Donald Trump is actually AI generated. So for funsies, I ran it through a couple of AI generated image checkers. This one is from ZeroGPT, and as you can see, it indicates that the image is likely real. This is another report from Decoy AI, and by their estimate, they indicate that this image is likely.
Watch Donald Trump's late night press conference on the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so you don't have to, and for the most part, it was just completely insane. He ranted about a variety of different topics when he was supposed to be talking about this shooting. He started it by thanking law enforcement and Secret Service for doing their job tonight, which is great, no problem with that, but then he immediately started talking about how this shooting means that he needs to build the ballroom. Like, he's using it as a justification to continue building the ballroom, which I don't know how that makes any sense. And there are a bunch of Republican influencers online saying the same thing. It's very weird. He then announced that he's posted photos of the suspect on his social media page, which he did, along with video footage of him being tackled to the ground by law enforcement after entering the building. Trump was asked by a number of different journalists if this changes anything for him in terms of policy or how he approaches the job. He said no, he's going to continue doing what he's doing. He was also asked by a Fox News journalist why this keeps happening to him, and he said, well, when you make a big impact, people want to go after you, so he's saying that he's so successful that people want to take him out. And then he started rambling about how driving race cars is a dangerous job, just like being president. I don't really know where he's going with that part, but that was pretty much
after the shooting that happened last night at Trump's White House Correspondents' Dinner. All these awful politicians came out with their statements where they're calling on people to condemn political violence. And I'm going to let you guys know this right now because more people do need to understand this, but these politicians, they're the ones who commit the majority of political violence. Because when Trump and Republicans took away the healthcare from millions of low-income and disabled people in this country who quite literally rely on it to survive, that is political violence. When politicians keep on sending ICE agents to go around the country and terrorize people, including even citizens, that's political violence. And when members of our own Congress keep on voting to send billions of our taxes to Israel to help them continue what they've been doing to Palestinians and people in the region, that is political violence. And regardless of what happened just last night, that also includes Trump as being somebody that does the majority of political violence. I am just so sick and tired of all these politicians. Every single time when an incident like this happens, they're the ones who try to act like they shouldn't be blamed and that they're not the ones who created the conditions for this to happen in the first place. They are. They're the ones who do the majority of political violence in this country and all across the world. It's just, I'm just so fed up.
For the third time, someone tried to kill President Trump. And I'd suggest that how you react to this matters. You can choose to justify it or normalize it with a root cause analysis, or you can condemn it unequivocally. And I've already seen all three of these responses. But the only sane reaction, if you value liberal democracy, is unequivocal condemnation. Right now, I'm reading the history of the decline and fall of the Roman Empire, and one of the things that strikes me is how much that society normalized political violence. One of the reasons for this is that the office of the emperor was so powerful that changing the emperor would totally change Roman society. And I think a lot of people have the same impulse in America because the presidency is so powerful. But American succession laws make it such that if you take out the president, the vice president takes charge, which means that you don't turn society on its head overnight. So setting the moral implications aside, the assassination of a president doesn't bring about meaningful political change, at least not in the executive office. Instead, the change that it makes is eroding democratic norms. But the other thing that strikes me is how much Romans seem to have normalized political violence as a part of government. And they did this to such a point that it became difficult to govern Roman society at all. And I worry that if we become overly callous to political violence, we'll do the same thing. Those who don't like President Trump will have the opportunity to totally remake the legislature in short order. And just a couple of years after that, they'll have a chance to elect a new president. But we have to insist on the workings of the system that we're all in. Otherwise, we devolve into chaos, and that's bad for us.
What's new with you? Something huge happened because Trump was evacuated and rushed out of the building because of a shooter. Wait, a shooter? What happened? So it was during the White House Correspondents' Dinner, which is a huge dinner that takes place every year, which has the president, government officials, and celebrities. During the event, people heard 4 to 5 loud bangs that seemed like gunshots. And because of that, the Secret Service pulled Trump out of the room, and the people in the room evacuated. What actually happened? Was there a shooter? Apparently there was a shooter in the lobby. And what happened to him? He was shot, and it was confirmed that he was killed. This is huge because this is one of the biggest events of the year in here. So is it cancelled? Well, the Secret Service did not want Trump to return to the dinner, but he insisted on returning to the dinner.
J.D. Vance escorted first by the Secret Service instead of Donald Trump during the attack. No one has realized these three details suggest it may have been rehearsed in advance. Just yesterday, an attack occurred while Donald Trump was hosting the White House Correspondents Association dinner. However, netizens noticed that J.D. Vance was quickly escorted off the stage while Trump was left unescorted for quite some time, sparking online discussion. First, according to Secret Service regulations, the president is the top security priority, followed by the vice president. But last night, the opposite happened. Vance was swiftly and quickly removed while Trump remained seated for a long time before being taken away. This completely violated established security protocols, looking like a deliberate arrangement following a script. Second, when Trump was escorted out, his bodyguards showed no signs of tension whatsoever. Furthermore, Trump's back was completely exposed without any cover, lacking any security protection at all. He even fell to the ground during the evacuation. Finally, combining the abnormal evacuation order and perfunctory security measure.
Do you think this keeps happening to you?
Well, you know, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this, where they got them, but the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after. They don't go after the ones that don't do much because they like it that way. And when you look at the people that have either, whether it was an attempt or a successful attempt, they're very impactful people. Just take a look at the names there, the big names. And I hate to say I'm honored by that, but I've done a lot. We've done a lot. We've taken this country, and we were a laughing stock for years, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world. We've changed this country, and there are a lot of people that are not happy about that.
Welcome back, guys. Now, it's very crazy. It's very sad if there's someone who wants to kill the president at a time like this. You know, first of all, I know and I believe that the president, Trump himself, knows that right now he has lost some of the popularity. And so I'm very sure that he's trying to do so many things to gain his popularity back. And I'm not saying that what happened in the State House is one of them. But again, we have to ask ourselves so many questions, because this is not the first time something like this happened to Trump. During his campaign, someone tried to kill him. Someone actually shot at him and it actually injured his ears. This is not the first time. This is not the first time something like this is happening. And Americans know it very well. This is not the first time. And actually, you have to ask yourself so many questions. How did this man manage to get into the White House with a gun and try shooting? How crazy can that be? You know, if someone gets into the State House, if someone has the expertise to get into the State House, that guy must be a very, very smart person and must be a very, very dangerous person. If he can get into the White House, you know, presidents are one of the most protected people in the world. When you talk about every particular president, now we are talking about the president of the United States of America. Even he was not even in the crowd in the outside there. He was in the White House. Now this man should be a very, very dangerous person. And imagine if this person is this dangerous but didn't even injure anyone. Nobody was injured. And actually this guy was arrested. There are so many rumors about him. People saying that he was dead, and some other people are saying that he's just arrested. There's so many rules around it, but we need to ask ourselves so many questions about this. And remember, the president is losing so much popularity from the people. He is losing popularity each and every day with things that he's doing, with things that are happening in the United States of America. So I don't want to give you answers, but everybody else is reasoning, and you don't need to attack me because of what I think and what I believe. But I believe that somehow it might be scripted or it might be true. We don't know. We never know. But we never know what actually happened, but that's what I believe and that's what I think. Maybe it might be true, because of course, you know, there might be some people who want to really kill the president, which I believe that nobody should be killed. I don't think that nobody deserves to be killed or nobody deserves to die. But again, we have to ask ourselves so many questions. But you, I will leave that to you. You tell me what you think about this story. Do you actually believe that someone tried to kill the president? You have to tell me down there in the comment section. And of course, join the family by just subscribing to this YouTube channel. See you in the next video. Let us reach 1,000 subscribers. I believe we can do that. See you in the next video. Goodbye, family.